What's going on, humans? What's up? It's Isaiah Panther. Welcome back to my channel. This is all about holistic creativity. Today we are on a series, we are on a journey. I wanted to get things kicked off today with organizing my thoughts. You know, we've been talking about just the overall philosophy of holistic creativity, what that means to me, getting myself into a gear of just mindfulness, awareness around my creativity, and recommitting myself to my journey, sharing more of my journey, activizing my creativity in ways that maybe lie dormant a little bit, you know, based off of some of the L's that I took in the last year or so. But if you haven't already, hit that bell for notifications to be notified of other videos, and let's get into it, organizing my thoughts. Alright, so coming in at number 1 on our list of ways to mind hack ourselves, we have mind mapping. So you can use mind maps to visually represent ideas and their relationships to each other. You start with the central idea and then you branch out into subtopics so you can really get a big picture of the overall connection of these ideas. This is a technique that a lot of people who want to learn more effectively are using, and it's really a more academic type of way of approach. I find it's more metacognitive skill. If you are that type of human, I will point you over to Justin Sung, who has a more fuller explanation on the topic of mind mapping, and he really breaks it down. Next, we have outlining and hierarchy. Create a detailed outline and hierarchical structure. So this basically allows you to break down your goal into main categories, then further divide them into subcategories and tasks. This method provides a clear roadmap as to what needs to get done. And I find that I kind of do already with the notes that I take around the goals that I have for the week. I'll write down the goal idea and then I'll put bullet points underneath as to little things that I want to kind of add in underneath that idea. I think this will be something that I implement a little bit more in just the way that I refine those outlines and how I look at it in a hierarchical and the way that I look at it in a hierarchical structure. Next, we have to-do list. This method is creating a detailed to-do list with deadlines and tasks as they need to get done, and then you basically go and pop those things out. You know, it's just something so satisfying about crossing things off a to-do list. You know what I'm saying? It just feels very gratifying to know that you're getting things done, and then you can kind of take that out of your mind as to something that needs to get done, clear more space for the other tasks that you want to get accomplished. And that is definitely something that I already kind of lean in towards, so I kind of feel like I just want to make sure that I'm really doing those things every day, and every time I have an idea around something, I'll jot it down in my notes app on my phone, and that's a really good way of like keeping tabs of what's going on in here, because you know, sometimes you'll have a thought about something that you want to get accomplished or need to do, and if you don't write it down right away, it just goes to the back of the Rolodex of all the other things that you have to think about in life. Next, we have project management tools. You know, I really do kind of just use my notes app at the moment as a project management tool. You know, I write my notes in there. I have different folders for different categories of goals that I have, whether it's journaling, YouTube posts, song categories, song lyrics, you know what I'm saying? And I just note those out into different folders, and then you can go into those folders and then you put down the specific song, the specific goal that you have in mind, the topic that you want to talk about, you know, and I find that that definitely helps me keep a ledger of the things that are going on in my mind. But I know that there are a lot of other tools that help you keep organization or project management. So utilizing project management tools like Trello, Asana, Jira. I've never used any of these. I did kind of Google them to see what they are about, and they all have a kind of a little bit of a similar interface, but they all have their own spin on it. But at the end of the day, if you are running big projects and things like that, I find that these project management tools definitely work to be able to collaborate with people, to also have other people have inputs on these projects. And I'm not in that space right now, but I feel like as I grow in the way of like creating more collaborative projects and things like that, I will find myself probably leaning towards using these things. And there are other project management tools on the map, so if you find that none of these work for you, you know, keep digging around and looking. There is an infinite amount of apps and tools for you to be able to use. I think these are some of the more popular ones, and you know, these are really just a centralized space for you to have a project outlook. Number 5, I have implemented this into my life, and I already feel it being a very cathartic process, and that is journaling. You know, maybe the night before I wake up the next morning, I'm like, wow, there was a bunch of things that happened that night. I don't really journal at night, but in the morning when things are fresh on my mind about how the night went or how the last day went, I like to just journal that down as to how I felt throughout the day, what's going on. And I realized that like things will pop up when I'm free writing that I was thinking about, or maybe a goal that I wanted to really implement. It's just a good way of kind of keeping a summary of like the way that I felt, the way that I approached the day, and to really see a theme of how I go about my day and really identify the already in-baked rituals or patterns that I kind of already go to, and lean more into that, because I feel like that is where it is. I want to kind of assess what's happening in my life and see patterns that are good, and really just hone into replicating those daily. And then I think that will help me in this push toward consistency. I'll see when I had the most energy, you know, if I talk about that, when I felt frustrated, you know, around a certain task or anything like that, and I talk about, and it gives me that retrospect as to being like, okay, so in the mornings I find myself a bit more motivated around, you know, getting those goals together for today. Maybe script writing is the best in the morning when I have all those thoughts in my mind. I find myself scripting out a bit more, being able to talk about those ideas. And then towards later in the day, I feel a bit more free, a bit more lax, and I find myself being more creative in those times. So I work on music a bit more, or I will do something that's a bit more like within the wheelhouse of like research on YouTube. You know, you want to kick back, I look, you know, make some food, and then I'll put on a YouTube video, maybe learning around this new camera that I have, learning how to just find ways to mind map myself. And so yeah, it's a bit of a research time, I feel like, in the evening. Next we have storyboarding. Storyboarding, I find, definitely helps when I am doing something that I need to put together a thematic kind of scheme as to what I want to get accomplished around an idea. When I was doing a music video for my last song, Your Kiss, I storyboarded out the video in a way of like shot to shot, and it really kind of helped bring the idea of the video into fruition. I was able to really communicate more with my videographer, dancers, anyone who was a part of the project, in a way where they could see the play-by-play of it. So storyboarding, I feel, definitely helps when you want to bring together the concept around the idea that you have, and to visually see that play out in scenes, in steps, you know what I'm saying? And so storyboarding is something that I think I use more when it comes to putting together a project and really being able to show the mood, the tone of the actual idea. Next we have chunking. And chunking is basically breaking down bigger goals, bigger ideas into smaller chunks where you can actually make it a bit more attainable for you instead of looking at the big picture. When you have a big idea, it sometimes can overwhelm you and overwhelm me. I can only speak for myself, but it can sometimes overwhelm me, and my procrastination, my anxiety, all of those things start to happen. But when I'm breaking things down into smaller ideas, smaller goals, then I feel a bit more relaxed around the idea of making this stuff happen. It feels a bit more attainable. So chunking will definitely implement, and I kind of already do. I definitely find it helpful. And I feel like that'll kind of get it. The key is finding a method or a combination of methods that fit your personal preferences. If you have any specific questions around any of these techniques on organizing your thoughts, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts, which ones work for you. If you have any other suggestions as to ways that you find it helpful to organize your thoughts, definitely drop me a comment, let me know, because I am definitely looking for ways this year to life hack my mind for that potential. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you found this video helpful at all, like it, comment on it, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell for notifications so you can be notified of my next video. At the end of the day, all I want is for you to be free, be free, be free, find your potential, free Palestine. Love you all.